In overnight news this half hour, a woman is in the hospital after a shooting in southeast Albuquerque. Police say it began as a domestic dispute near Yale and Cole. This is video from the scene. When police arrived, we understand they found a woman shot in the stomach and a man shot on the hand. No word on how the shooting happened. The man is in police custody, we understand. Police are still investigating what happened here. Names have not yet been released. We'll keep you posted. Now an update to a missing teacher found dead in Carlsbad. Police now say they believe her boyfriend killed her.
Carlsbad police say the boyfriend, Robert Early, led them to his girlfriend, Emily Lambert's body in a deserted area near Loving. Lambert is from Texas. She was a teacher. She also had 2 young daughters. And we were told she was in Carlsbad last weekend visiting Early. Police say he told them the two got into a fight after drinking. Then he punched her and knocked her out. Police say Early then drove Lambert out to the deserted area. And when Lambert woke up and tried to fight him, he hit her with an air pump.
Emily was bubbly, very vivacious, always had a smile on her face. In the words of her children, she was nice. They thought she was fun.
Investigators say the next day, Robert Early went back to make sure Emily Lambert was dead. Early is now facing a murder charge. He's being held on a $1 million bond. More details this morning about the APS police chief who's on paid suspension. We have learned that the investigation into Chief Steve Tellez is complete. However, APS is not releasing the report about this or any details. But according to sources close to the APS Police Department, the report involves ammunition that went missing from the department's storage locker. We're told that Tellez is one of only a few people who has a key to that room. APS has refused to comment on this, saying it's a personnel issue.
The Albuquerque School District is saying it will not be paying for the damage 2 third graders did to some teachers' cars during recess. It happened last month in the staff parking lot at Manzano Mesa Elementary School. A police report says the kids were caught throwing rocks and scratching up 7 cars. At least one school employee is questioning whether the school should pay for the damages since the kids were under the school's care. Some parents agree.
The school is responsible for them while they're here, but the parents are responsible for them overall.
APS is saying that it's responsibility of the kids and the parents. Those are the ones who should pay for the damage, more so the parents. A family is suing a former teacher and 2 school districts in New Mexico, claiming officials knew the teacher was molesting students, but did nothing to stop it. Matt has more on this case. Hey, Matt.
Elizabeth, the family says what happened here is simply unacceptable. You might think the same after you hear this. Gary Greger is now accused of fondling a 4th grader at Fairview Elementary in Espanola in 2006. So court documents from Utah show a case against Greger in the 90s for sexual misconduct. That was dismissed, but he was still hired in 2000 to work for Santa Fe Public Schools here at Agua Fria Elementary. Greger resigned 4 years later after he was accused of more misconduct with kids, and none of this, we are told, was reported to CYFD or police. And Santa Fe Public Schools then agreed not to provide any information to other school districts about this said misconduct. Well, that's when Greger moved on to Espanola and Fairview Elementary.
For anybody thinking of hiring him once he left Utah, he should never have been hired by an elementary school in the state of New Mexico, much less 2.
Greger was placed on leave after the girl's father filed a complaint with police. That was in 2009. At that time, the Public Education Department pulled his teaching license as well. Elizabeth?
All right, Matt, thank you. Neither school district, by the way, is commenting on this case. Bernalillo County is taking a $10 million loss on securities as officials work to restructure the investment portfolio. This is according to the Albuquerque Journal. An article states it will boost the amount of cash available. County Manager Tom Zdunek and County Treasurer Manny Ortiz have been working together with a private financial advisor to reshape the portfolio. Ortiz has been criticized by county leaders, as we told you, for making shoddy and questionable investments in the past.
A sergeant at the Metro Detention Center is at home collecting full pay while prosecutors prepare to ask a grand jury to indict him on rape charges. On special assignment last night, we told you that Tori Chambers here has been a guard at the MDC for more than a decade. Well, 3 years ago, 2 female inmates came forward saying Chambers forced them to have sex with him in the jail. Chambers was arrested, but he's never been prosecuted. Now a 3rd woman says something similar happened with Chambers. He is on paid leave right now, as I mentioned. His second suspension for these charges.
For this negative issue to come up again after it should have been resolved years ago is very frustrating for a jail administrator.
See the full report from Matt Grubbs. You can check it out on tonight at 9 o'clock on 2 Casa, or you can check it out anytime at KRQE.com.
A UNM student is running for a trip to Mars. 26-year-old Zachary Gallegos was one of more than 200,000 candidates to apply to be part of this special mission to the red planet that is being put together by a nonprofit group called Mars One. Now, Gallegos, a planetary science grad student, has made it into the second round along with about 1,000 other students. Here's the deal, though. This is a one-way ticket to Mars.
It does make me nervous, and it's a little bit scary. The one thing I've thought about is never seeing open air again, because you'll either be in a capsule or in a spacesuit.
Okay, so just so you know, the reason it would be a one-way ticket to Mars is because Mars One, the nonprofit group that wants to make this happen, wants to establish a colony on the red planet as early as 2025. Training, they say, for selected candidates could begin as early as next year.
Okay, for this to happen, for anyone to go on a one-way trip to Mars, the company, the nonprofit behind this Mars One, has to raise $4 to $5 billion, and it says it's going to do that by donations, maybe by sponsorships.
Yeah.